A reading from the book, The Beginner's Guide to the Gift of Prophecy by Jack Deere. One of the ways we recognize our gifting is that we don't have to work hard to make it happen. Prophets don't have to strive for revelation. It simply comes to them, unbidden, and if they wait on the Lord, it increases. The same is true for evangelists, teachers, administrators, and healers. We all need to strive to acquire godly character, but our gifts by definition are given. There are other clues to discovering our gifts, but let's first look at a common mistake people make when they try to discover prophetic giftings. A false clue. "I'm called as a prophet," the young man told me. "How do you know?" I asked. "Because I'm always seeing what is wrong with people, churches, and ministry." "I'll bet your gifting has brought you a lot of joy." "No, just the opposite. The people I've ministered to really don't understand the office of prophet. They get offended at the word of the Lord. What do you think is wrong?" The young man may have had a prophetic calling, but he had missed the main point of prophetic ministry. He was paying for his misunderstanding with a joyless, strife-filled life. Always seeing what is wrong with people is not a gift, it's an obsession. It is frequently the sign of a rigid, angry, controlling personality disorder that causes pain for everyone involved. In another church, an angry couple said to me, "We don't understand. We've told those leaders repeatedly what is wrong with their ministry, but they never listen to us. You come here for 2 days and say the same things, and they listen to you." This couple, oblivious to their bitterness and to their lack of divine authority, had modeled their prophetic ministry after Old Testament prophets who expressed God's holy anger towards corrupt leaders and a rebellious people. God is still angry with rebellious leaders. Just read Matthew 23. But when he wants to reveal his anger through a human messenger, he normally bestows divine authority on a godly and mature servant, not a beginning prophet. Fault-finding and anger are not the signs of a prophetic calling, but rather of a wounded heart that has refused God's healing mercy. The New Testament prophet is called primarily to build up, not to tear down. Anger usually tears down by disheartening people or inflaming them with revenge. Holy anger may frighten rebellious leaders into repentance, but the majority of people to whom the New Testament prophets minister are weak and immature believers, not rebellious people or corrupt leaders. The real prophetic gift is not simply being able to see what's wrong with people, but seeing how to build them up. It does not take much of a gift to make people feel guilty, but imparting grace and mercy requires a highly developed prophetic gift. The gift fills both the hearers and the prophet with divine joy and faith. After my first encounter with a prophet, I walked out of the room dazzled by the omniscience, wisdom, mercy, goodness, and love of God. I was filled with joy. My faith went off the charts. My passion for the Lord increased, and I wanted to introduce all my friends to prophetic ministry. How different would it have been if I had faced an angry person who wanted to berate me for my sins? To be sure, I had sins worthy of berating, but God knew that berating me would not lead me to repentance. Instead, he fascinated with me with his wisdom and dazzled me with his love. That revelatory encounter made sin so much less interesting. Here are some ways to find out if God is calling you to that kind of ministry. The desires of our heart. One of the most common ways that God leads us is through our desires. Some Christians believe just the opposite. They think that God's will involves going where you do not want to go, doing what you do not want to do, and being who you do not want to be. In short, being miserable. One pretty young woman once told me she feared God was going to make her marry an ugly man or a minister. "No offense," she said. I could tell she was debating which alternative would be worse, and I also wondered whether she meant no offense in reference to my looks or my chosen profession. Or did she now fear that maybe God would make her marry an ugly minister? Whatever she meant, she was tricked into believing the will of God for her would always be some degree of punishment. Perhaps guilt led her to feel like this, or maybe someone had taught her that all desires are bad and never to be trusted. The Bible has a more positive view of our desires. It holds out the promise, "Delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart." Psalm 37:4. If the Lord is our principal source of joy, then we can trust the desires of our heart to lead us. Do you desire a prophetic gifting? Are you delighting in the Lord? If so, your desire is a sign He is leading you into a prophetic ministry. Do not be afraid to follow your desires. If His yoke really is easy and His burden really is light, why would He call you to serve Him with a gifting that is disagreeable to you? The counsel of others. When I became convinced that the Bible teaches that the gift of prophecy is for today, I became nervously open to it. But when God came to me through prophecy with His healing love, I wanted the gift of prophecy. Back then, because I did not have much faith in my desires, I needed the advice of some of my trusted friends to obtain the confidence to pursue prophecy for my own ministry. Proverbs affirms that God may use our friends to lead us. Plans will fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors, they succeed. Proverbs 15:22. I also received a number of unsolicited and convincing prophetic words from people who did not know me, indicating that I should pursue both the prophetic and healing ministries. Ask those who really know you what they think about your gifting, and don't be afraid to ask prophetic people to pray for you. Trying it out. If you regularly have prophetic experiences, this indicates you have a prophetic gifting. In the beginning, this sometimes can be a little frightening. You may know things about others without being told. You may hear a still small voice or fall into a trance, or like Ezekiel, be transported to another place in a vision. These experiences may cause you to think you are going crazy. Of course, there's always that possibility, but more likely it is the Lord bringing you a prophetic gift. Another way you can know if you have a prophetic gifting is by the accuracy of your words, and by whether or not they build others up when you attempt to minister prophetically. In the end, there is no escape from simply trying to move out in the gifting you desire. The best place to try prophetic ministry is not your local church in a Sunday morning service, especially when your church is not enthusiastic about prophets. A better way to explore your gifting is with a few like-minded friends or in a home group that is committed to training people in the gifts. Because of His kindness and mercy, we do not have to worry about discovering our gifts. The giver has promised that those who seek will find. Our search is really only a response to His pursuit and to His longing for us, whether we are 8 years old or 80, whether in an encounter in a home group, in a meeting with a prophet, or in a luminous, frightening visit in our bedroom. God is pursuing us. He wants to make prophets out of some of us, but ultimately He wants to make friends out of all of us. Friends who are fascinated by the mystery and adventure of His holy love.